What up, Vol Nation? This is Scott with Birds, Bugs, and Bait, and coming at you from kind of a post game next day status video here. Licking our wounds a little bit after Ohio State kicked our butts. Um, man, what can I say? What can anybody say? What can Vol Nation say this morning? So, just embarrassing loss. I actually was in such a mood last night. Really, I just didn't feel like getting on here, getting on Facebook, or doing any kind of live video or anything. I tried a live one a little bit ago, and I did one, but I think there was a technical glitch with YouTube. It's like it's not there, so I don't know what happened to it. Waylon, you guys that I commented live, not sure what happened. It's like it showed up on my YouTube for a second, and then it's gone. So I don't know. So I'm doing a recorded one here, but man, we got handled last night. What can I say? Glad that we are where we are overall. Vol Nation's hurting. Um, but obviously, I'm thankful to have Josh Heupel. Let me start there. It wasn't long ago Tennessee had Derek Dooley, and well, it's been a little bit since Dooley, but Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt, and we sucked. We just sucked. So I'm so thankful to have a legitimate coach, and we're not just sitting here praying to get to go to the Music City Bowl every year. Nothing wrong with the Music City Bowl. Before I get some haters out there, but it's nice to be nationally relevant, and Tennessee hadn't been nationally relevant for 20 plus years, not really, not since Fulmer, and in the earlier Fulmer years at that, 1990s, very early 2000s. So I'm thankful. Let's just say what it is. We got our butts. Um, we got our ass kicked last night. There's nothing else that can be said that's not more accurate than that sentence right there. We got handled by Ohio State at the line of scrimmage specifically all night long on both sides of the ball. Period. Our supposed vaulted defensive line, elite defense that Booger McFarland and me, I had said it for weeks that Ohio State hadn't seen a defense like Tennessee's coming in here. That narrative got old real quick as soon as they kicked off. I'm not sure what occurred, but I don't know, man. We just didn't play very well. We didn't play well. That wasn't our A game, at all. However, I'm not even sure with our A game. I don't think we would have necessarily beat that team last night the way that they played last night. I just don't. I don't think we need some more dudes. And I'm not trying to sit here and make excuses. We got handled. Period. High State, man, y'all had a great game. Uh, Great game plan. Um, I watched the team that played us last night, and as aggressive as they were and throwing the ball everywhere, all around the field, and I think, what in the world? And I have some friends of mine that are actually Ohio State fans, but I think, what in the world happened with Ohio State the game they played against Michigan? Was it true that Ryan Day just tried to run the ball on Michigan and they wouldn't throw it? Because that's kind of silly to lose a game when you could have threw it. I don't know. I don't watch enough Buckeye football to know. But if so, dang. I mean, gee whiz, just beat your team you're playing the way that it takes to beat them. But it was pretty obvious to me last night, very soon after kickoff, except Nico. Nico is a man child. Nico is a dude we played with extreme heart and soul. And he's young, and he's going to get even better than he is right now. Man, he got his helmet split open, and he just come right back and played the rest of the game as best he could. But my God, does Nico need some help? Um, we need some more studs, and I hate to say that it goes to money, but you can say that now, right? Because it does go to money. It's NIL world that we live in now, And from some of the reports that I had listened to after last night's game, we all know Ohio State has the number one money. Uh, how do you word that? The most expensive roster in college football. I think it's 21 or 22 million roster. Tennessee's is 12, and there's a lot of teams behind us, you know, um, a lot of teams, okay, that would love to have a $12 million roster. But what was very obvious to me early on in that game was that we didn't have enough dudes. Okay, not really. And I know Dylan Sampson was hurt, and I do think if he was 100%, it would have made a difference. And I think if a couple of our receivers that were obviously hurt, it would have made a difference. I don't think we would have got as embarrassed as we did, but would it have made a huge difference in the outcome of the game? I don't think so. I don't. The Buckeyes were just too good. Shout out to some of my friends, Paul Harris, Josh Vanoy. Yeah, we just got our butts kicked. So, listen, I hate to get on here and pray for money, but if Tennessee, Heupel has done really good getting us back to national relevancy. We're year 4. We made the college football playoff. Think about this: Hendon Hooker, 2022 come out of nowhere. People didn't know what to say. Oh my God, where's Tennessee's back? What's going on here? We're not used to Tennessee winning ball games, and that was like, oh, it's just a flash in the pan, man. It's just a one season. They did well, but nah. Last year, obviously, 23 was a little bit of a letdown, but we were in between Hooker and Nico, and Joe Milton was okay, and maybe even kind of good at times, but he was inconsistent as heck. And so we took a back step last year. This year, fast forward to Nico's first starting year, really, and we make the playoffs, and we got embarrassed, but we made the playoffs. So okay, check mark. Where do we go from here? Now let's talk about NIL. If Ohio State's spending 22 million on a roster and we're spending 12, think about that. That is a $10 million difference in talent. If Tennessee had 10 million more dollars in talent, you're talking about 5, 6 more 5-star studs on the field. Period. And just think about it. If Nico had 2 or 3 more 5-star linemen and 2 other 5-star receivers to throw to. And I know we have freshman Mike Matthews 5-star, and he's going to be a stud. He's already a stud. He's going to be a bigger stud next season, bigger role. But we need more. We need more. And to do more, we need more NIL. So Spire Sports Group, Vol Donor Nation, Vol Booster Nation. Hey, listen, we're here now as far as being nationally relevant. What do you want to do with it now? You want to compete against Ohio State? You want to compete against Georgia? Okay. I used to say Alabama. We've beat Alabama the last 2 out of the last 3 years. But seriously, if you want to compete against the elite of the elite, um, it's not all about money, but it's a lot about money. And in this world. So hey, listen, the Haslam family, yeah, hey, and not just them, but other ones too. Manning, gonna need some cash, man. Gonna need some NIL help, and um, I'm not the only one on here saying this. If you want to compete, let's roll. And I also think there might need to be some coaching changes, and I'm not talking about Heupel, man. Heupel is the best coach we've had since Philip Fulmer, when Philip Fulmer was really, really good, and Johnny Majors was really, really good, and Tennessee was relevant in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. So no one's on here saying Heupel sucks, and if they are, they're stupid. Heupel does not suck. Heupel's system does work. We've proven that, but I'm not so sure. Couple things need to change. I think Willie Martinez, the secondary coach, personally, I don't think is good enough. He was here before, wasn't very good. They brought him back. It was in a weakness, man. We got exposed against Georgia's receivers. We got absolutely exposed last night against Ohio State's receivers. We need help as a secondary. I mean, DBs need help. I don't think that coaching staff is quite good enough. And I'm not so sure that Joey Halsley, I'm not so sure our OC is good enough. I think Alex Golish that left and went to South Florida a couple years ago after the 22 season. I think Golish was a dude. I think he was a really, really aggressive. That's when we were running that hyper tempo. And we can still run it, but with Nico, a redshirt freshman, you just don't run it as fast as you can. And we haven't had to this season because we've had a man child in Dylan Sampson, the SEC leading running back that was running the rock for us and doing a heck of a job all season. We didn't have to go warp speed, man. We only lost 2 games. We lost to a pitiful Arkansas team that we should never lost to. We had a horrible game, and we lost to the SEC champions Georgia. And actually, we were winning that game and tied at halftime. So we didn't get manhandled this season. We did really well. So hold your head up high, Vol Nation, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? Hold your head up high. I hate to say there's always next year because Vol Nation always says that, but we are going to get there. Eventually, we will get there. I promise. I don't know when, but I do kind of feel like that we are going to at least win the SEC before Nico is gone. I hope. But and then we have some other studs coming in after Nico. Man, George McIntyre is a stud, and right now the 2026 kid Brandon Faison, or am I saying that Faison Brandon? I think it's Faison Brandon, is committed to the Vols, and he looks like he's a 100% lock, and he is the number one athlete and number one QB in the country. So, we're not going to be hurting at QB. No one's saying that. And just like last night, it's the same thing as last night. We're not hurting at QB. It's not Nico's fault. Nico played the best he could possibly play without enough help. So he needs some help. Donors, boosters, crying out to you. We need some help. Need about $8 or $10 million bucks. I mean, look at UNC, man. They just hired Bill Belichick. I don't know how to feel about that hire at a basketball school and paid him what $10 million plus, I think, to come in there and resurrect that football program, and said we're going to give you $20 million NIL to a basketball school that is not even known for their football program, not really. And so Tennessee plays in the toughest conference in the country, the SEC. Nobody's disputing that. Hands down, the best conference. We have to compete against these other top-notch programs. And to do that, you got to have the right coaches, but you really got to have the right money. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Take care.